The man stepped out of the taxi wearing wrinkled clothes, dusty shoes, and carrying a faded leather bag that looked older than the hotel itself. Rainwater dripped from his sleeves as he stood beneath the golden lights of the most luxurious hotel in the city. Guests in expensive suits moved around him with disgusted glances, assuming he was homeless, lost, or begging for help. But the man simply stared at the towering building with calm eyes, like he already owned every brick of it. Inside the grand lobby, crystal chandeliers sparkled above marble floors worth more than most people's homes. Soft piano music floated through the air while wealthy guests checked in with smiles. Behind a front desk stood Vanessa Hale, the hotel manager everyone feared. Cold, elegant, and ruthless, she ruled the hotel with a sharp tongue and zero patience for anyone she considered beneath her. The moment she saw the soaked stranger enter the lobby, her smile vanished. People nearby immediately covered their noses. A rich woman whispered loudly to her husband, "Why would security allow someone like that inside?" The old man ignored them and approached the front desk politely. "I'd like a room for tonight," he said quietly. Vanessa looked him up and down slowly, disgust spreading across her face. "A room," she repeated mockingly. "Sir, this is the Grand Celestia Hotel. Rooms here start at $2,000 per night." The man nodded gently. "That will not be a problem." Several guests laughed. Vanessa crossed her arms. "Do you even have identification?" He reached into his old bag and handed her a worn wallet. She barely looked at it before pushing it back toward him with two fingers like it was contaminated. "I'm sorry," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "but we don't accept homeless people trying to escape the rain." The lobby went silent. The man remained calm. "I'm not homeless." "Really?" Vanessa smirked. "Then perhaps your private jet is parked outside beside the garbage bins?" More laughter exploded through the lobby. One employee near the desk looked uncomfortable, but nobody dared interrupt her. The old man glanced around quietly. "I only need a room for one night." Vanessa leaned closer. "Listen carefully. Guests here pay for luxury, safety, and class. You are disturbing all three. Leave before I call security." The man's eyes rested on her name tag. "Vanessa Hale," he read softly. "Yes," she snapped. "You seem very proud of this hotel." Her lips curled proudly. "Because unlike you, I actually belong here." For the first time, something changed in the man's expression. Not anger, not embarrassment, something colder. He slowly picked up his wallet. "Very well," he said calmly. "I'll return tomorrow." Vanessa laughed. "Please don't." Security escorted him outside into the storm while guests watched with amusement. Some even applauded softly. As the doors closed behind him, the old man turned once more toward the building. Rain streamed down his face, but his eyes never left the glowing sign above the entrance. The Grand Celestia Hotel. Then he walked away into the darkness. That night, Vanessa celebrated in the executive lounge with wealthy investors and VIP guests. She proudly told the story of how she had saved the hotel atmosphere from an old beggar trying to sneak inside. Everyone laughed. "You did the right thing," one businessman told her. "People like that scare paying customers." Vanessa raised her wine glass proudly. "Exactly. Standards matter." But while the music played and champagne flowed upstairs, a quiet emergency meeting was happening on the hotel's top floor. The hotel's board members sat nervously around a long table while lawyers whispered urgently beside them. Because earlier that evening, they had received shocking news. The mysterious majority owner of the Grand Celestia hotel chain, the man nobody had seen in nearly 15 years, had suddenly returned to the city. No photos existed of him. Very few employees even knew his real name. But according to legal documents, he still owned 71% of the company. And tomorrow morning, he was coming to inspect the hotel personally. The board members panicked because the owner was famous for one thing: destroying careers overnight. By sunrise, the entire hotel was in chaos. Employees rushed across the lobby, polishing every surface twice. Managers screamed orders into radios. Fresh flowers were delivered. Even the chandeliers were cleaned again before dawn. Vanessa stood near the front desk in a perfect black suit, confident as always. Honestly, she scoffed to another employee, people are acting like the king is arriving. He technically owns everything, the employee whispered nervously. Vanessa rolled her eyes. Old rich men are all the same. At exactly 9 a.m., 3 black luxury vehicles stopped outside the entrance. The lobby froze instantly. Board members hurried forward nervously as security opened the car doors. First came lawyers, then executives, then assistants carrying files. And finally, Vanessa's face slowly lost color. The old man from last night stepped out of the final vehicle wearing an elegant charcoal suit worth more than most annual salaries. His silver watch gleamed beneath the sunlight. His shoes shined perfectly. Every person around him treated him like royalty. The entire lobby fell into stunned silence. Vanessa couldn't breathe. The old man calmly adjusted his cuffs and entered the hotel. Nobody laughed this time. One board member rushed forward nervously. "Welcome back, Mr. Laurent." Every employee straightened instantly. "Mr. Laurent, the owner." The old man's eyes slowly scanned the lobby until they landed directly on Vanessa. Her knees nearly gave out. "You," she whispered. He approached the front desk calmly, while executives followed behind him like terrified schoolchildren. Vanessa forced a weak smile. "Sir, I didn't realize." "No," he interrupted softly. "You realized exactly what you thought I was." The silence became unbearable. Employees stared at Vanessa in horror. Mr. Laurent gently placed both hands on the marble counter she once used to humiliate him. "Tell me," he said quietly, "what were your exact words last night?" Vanessa's lips trembled. "Sir, I can explain. You said," he continued calmly, "guests here pay for luxury, safety, and class. You are disturbing all three." Nobody moved. Mr. Laurent looked around the magnificent lobby. "When I built this hotel chain 40 years ago," he said, "it was never meant to worship wealth. It was meant to make every guest feel human." Vanessa's face turned pale. "But somewhere along the way," he continued, "people like you infected it." Tears formed in her eyes. "Please, sir." Then came the sentence that shattered her world. "You're fired." The words echoed through the lobby like thunder. Vanessa nearly collapsed. "Security," Mr. Laurent said calmly. "Escort Miss Hale out of my hotel." The same guards who removed him last night now approached Vanessa. Her humiliation was complete. Guests whispered furiously. Employees looked away awkwardly. But suddenly Vanessa broke. "This is insane," she shouted desperately. "You came in dressed like a beggar. What did you expect?" The lobby gasped. Mr. Laurent stared at her silently. Then he spoke words nobody would ever forget. "I expected kindness." Silence. Pura silence. Vanessa's eyes filled with panic as reality finally crushed her. Because deep down, she knew he was right. He had not demanded special treatment. He had not revealed his identity. He had simply asked for a room. And she chose cruelty. Security gently escorted her toward the doors while she cried openly. But before she exited, Mr. Laurent spoke again. "One more thing." She turned hopefully. "I spent the night in a small motel across town," he said quietly. "The receptionist there earned $9 an hour and treated me with more dignity than the manager of a 5-star hotel." Vanessa lowered her head in shame. Then the doors closed behind her forever. The board members immediately surrounded Mr. Laurent with apologies. But he ignored them. Instead, he walked through the lobby slowly, observing employees carefully. Some looked terrified, others ashamed. Finally, his attention stopped on a young bellboy standing near the elevator. It was Ethan, the only employee who had looked uncomfortable during Vanessa's humiliation the night before. Mr. Laurent approached him quietly. "What's your name?" "Ethan, sir." "You wanted to help me yesterday." Ethan swallowed nervously. I should have." Mr. Laurent studied him carefully. "But you didn't." Ethan lowered his eyes. "I was afraid of losing my job." The owner nodded slowly. "Fear is expensive," he said quietly. Then, unexpectedly, he smiled slightly. "But honesty matters." He turned toward the executives. "Effective immediately," he announced, "Ethan is promoted to guest relations supervisor." The young man froze in disbelief. And every employee in this building, Mr. Laurent continued, will attend mandatory hospitality retraining beginning today. Nobody argued. For the next several hours, the owner inspected every corner of the hotel personally. Kitchens, laundry rooms, staff hallways, employee cafeterias, areas executives usually ignored. And everywhere he went, he asked workers one simple question: how are employees treated here? The answers horrified him. Vanessa's cruelty had infected the entire culture of the hotel. Workers feared managers. Housekeepers were insulted daily. Staff were punished for tiny mistakes. Employees cried in bathrooms between shifts. Luxury had become poison. By evening, Mr. Laurent made another shocking decision. He fired 3 senior executives, reduced executive bonuses, increased staff wages, and established a new policy. Any employee caught humiliating guests or coworkers will be terminated immediately. The board protested furiously behind closed doors. This will cost millions, one executive argued. Mr. Laurent looked at him coldly. So does arrogance. 3 weeks later, the Grand Celestia Hotel became the center of national attention. Not because of scandal, because of transformation. Employees suddenly smiled genuinely. Online reviews exploded with praise. Guests described the atmosphere as warm, human, and unforgettable. Revenue increased dramatically. But Vanessa Hale's life collapsed. No luxury hotel would hire her after hearing what happened. News spread quietly through elite business circles. Interviews ended the moment employers recognized her name. The woman who once mocked poor-looking people now sat alone in a tiny apartment, struggling to pay rent. One rainy evening, nearly 2 months after her firing, Vanessa walked through downtown wearing an old coat and carrying grocery bags. Then she froze. Across the street stood Mr. Laurent. For a moment, she considered running away, but he had already seen her. To her surprise, he crossed the street calmly. Vanessa lowered her eyes immediately. "I know you probably hate me." "I don't," he answered quietly. She looked shocked. "I hated myself enough afterward for both of us." Rain drizzled softly between them. Vanessa laughed bitterly. "I lost everything." Mr. Laurent studied her carefully. "Not everything." She frowned slightly. "You lost status," he corrected. "That's different." For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Vanessa whispered the question, haunting her for weeks. "Why did you come dressed like that night?" Mr. Laurent looked toward the cloudy sky. "Because I do it every few years." She blinked. "I visit my hotels without warning," he explained. "No assistants, no luxury cars, just me. And every time, people reveal who they truly are." Vanessa's chest tightened painfully. "How many fail?" Mr. Laurent gave a sad smile. "Too many." She looked down at the wet pavement. "I never thought I was cruel. Cruel people rarely do." The words pierced deeper than any insult. Vanessa finally gathered courage to ask, "Why are you talking to me right now after everything I did?" Mr. Laurent looked at her quietly for a long moment. "Because humiliation teaches nothing unless mercy survives afterward." Her eyes filled with tears instantly. Then, to her complete shock, he handed her a business card. "There's a small hotel outside the city," he said. "Family-owned. They need a front desk supervisor." Vanessa stared at him speechlessly. "You'd still help me?" Mr. Laurent adjusted his coat. "I'm giving you a second chance," he said calmly. "Not because you earned it, but because someone once gave one to me." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "But understand this clearly," he continued. "If you ever make another human being feel worthless because of appearance, money, or status, you will destroy yourself again." Vanessa nodded silently, unable to speak. Mr. Laurent turned and began walking away through the rain. Then he stopped one final time. "The richest people in the world are not the ones who own hotels," he said without turning around. "They're the ones who never forget how to treat strangers." And then he disappeared into the crowded street, leaving Vanessa standing there beneath the rain, holding the second chance she never thought she deserved.